right now I can just leave it as it is. So, for the first one, it is my favorite dungeon, probably, like one of the most favorite dungeons. Sorry about that. Get my skills ready. As of the starting of the 105 dungeons, it is the Island of the Sunless Sea, which is in the beginning of Act 2. The Stony Tomb. On the second level, there is an elite mob called Grubber. You need to kill one of those, and they'll open a portal. They are always in the room, which has these 4 pillars, like 4, 6. So if you see this on the minimap, that's where you need to go. Kill one of these guys. Oh, I have this on. My bad. And there you go. Island of the Sunless Sea. Where did my chat go, by the way? Okay, it's still there. Just blacked out for some reason. Anyway. So here, most of the enemies will be invisible, which is always a great thing to deal with. But if you have any skills which you can precast, like for me it would be Absolution. It goes like in a way ahead, so you kind of follow up to that, because the enemies ahead of you will probably try to get close to you, and if you walk into that, you're kind of in the interruption zone. If you're playing this build, your vessels will auto target these enemies because they are still here. So if you have like something that deals damage like automatically, like these vessels do, you are like in a great spot for this dungeon, even for the early parts where you don't really have a lot of gear, because you will see where the enemies are. Getting some life regen is also nice, but mostly just following your damage skill, where it like cuts away from enemies, is probably the best advice I can give for this dungeon. Other than that, the boss is quite simple. You just burn him down. He drops one of these angel bags. You need to get all 6 from this dungeon. The location is fairly easy to find, right? I mean, I just need to teleport well. To the second boss. Yeah, I got a shrine. Cool. You'll get a lot of gold, which is like good because you can get your early mystic orbs up if you're still in need for them. And every boss has a 1 in 6 chance of dropping an extra, like a trophy sort of stuff, which is the Sunless Bird trophy. We'll see. I hope it'll drop, because it would be awkward if it wouldn't. You can also get start to get sacred set items from here, which is great because we just got 2 when I wanted to say that. So that's a nice showcase of that. There's the 5th one, and I missed one in the middle, like in here. It's there. Let me just crash the game. So god damn it! What did I even do? I didn't do anything, dude. Stop. So anyway, the 6th boss is in the kind of the middle. They have like this this ice attack. That's basically it. They don't really have anything super special about them, so it's kind of a simple dungeon. But that's how they should be, right? Like, these are the early dungeons. You shouldn't really worry about them. And this is basically the spot where you will farm your level 110, most likely. I mean, that's how I should do it. I mean, that's how I would do it, and that's how I kind of do it every time. For the second... Oh my god, it changed like so much. Okay, for the second, we need to go to the Stony Field, then to Tristram. we kinda ignore Griswold because leave the man alone, he has gone through some stuff. And we need to go here. This is where we go to the Butcher's Lair. This boss is relatively simple. All you need to do is kinda just avoid the fire which is coming from these sacrificial altars. And kinda just burn him down. That is the that is the whole thing about it. The charm doesn't have rolls. Like I think it will give 10 all stats and 20% magic find every time, but you can check these on the website. So this is the first zone or boss which you'll find the lockdown. I mean, now you get that in like Baal fight in normal, so that's kind of the first place. But this is like after 20 seconds you cannot exit the zone and then come back. Like if you wanna go back for like, oops, I forgot my potions, and you need to do it very quickly. That's basically the point, because after 20 seconds you cannot re-enter the zone. Run and walk ever. Stop. Calm the fuck down. Thank you. You get to the Infernal Machine. Like, you could do it just if you are playing an assassin, for example, with backstab, which can go basically invincible if you have high enough attack speed. The best strategy probably would be just run in, find the Infernal Machine, which is here. It's kind of here. You just melt him down. The Infernal Machine has like kind of low health, but there will be a lot of elite mobs spawning here. Like it's kind of RNG on how many enemies will be here, kind of RNG on what enemies will be here, and kind of RNG on like where the actual stuff will be. So as you see, the boss is not really tanky. The boss is rather dies easily. It just depends. Like, see, if it would have spawned here, that's bad. Like that's you just need to kill. Like you could also, if you don't have that much damage or you're kind of squishy, you just try to lure more than one mob away at a time, because if you try to go them one by one, the machine will spawn them faster than you could kill them, and you're not really getting ahead. But if you can kill like 2 or more mobs at the same time, you will do this easily. Nothing special to worry about, most likely. Also, you should, when starting these 105 dungeons, you should be rest kept, or even use some of these gems, like Bloodstone, Amber. There is also another Topaz, that's Sapphire. There is also the Onyxes, and there is also the gem which I cannot find right now. I think it's in my inventory. Yeah, and also the Turkeys. Turkeys? That's how you say it? That's how you say it in Hungarian, whatever. These increase your maximum elemental resist if you put them in your armor. So again, walking in this game. Also, did I get my map reset? I don't remember it being this way. So you get to the death projector. This area also has a 20-second lockdown. So you can make your portal in here, and if you want to reset, you can reset, but you need to be rather fast about that because the time is not that much. There with these are like the engineers here. This ray that goes around used to be a one-shot. Like, you need to like keep a very good pace. The enemies are invulnerable, like totally undamageable, not just untargetable, undamageable. And your main goal should be bursting down the projector, picking your charm up and leaving the zone, because even though these guys are like kind of slow, just like get teleport here. We see how much damage they deal. I mean, my character has max physical resistance, so if you can get yourself some physical res, that definitely helps against these guys. and getting some lightning res against the projector itself. But other than these basic mechanics, there is not much going on. I thought I would have a bit more damage to him, actually. Good. There you have it, laser focus crystal. You have dungeons are mainly just for the boss themselves, like there is not much else to them, but rifts also are generally a good farming spot. Like rifts are what you'll see with like a lot of mobs in, like usually having some sort of a job bias, which is called in the website, which means they'll grant you something special, like have a higher chance to drop gold, which is for the it's kind of the theme for the dungeon in the drops. This area has a higher chance to drop just like basic items like shrines, signets, quivers, jewels, stuff like that, like basic stuff. Okay, maybe not jewels. You kind of have to pay attention because there are invisible mobs here, and if you like try to take on like a bigger pack, you'll like really easily die. Having high physical resistance here is also nice, and some poison because one of the shamans has like poison damage. But other than that, either having like a follower who can tank the damage instead of you, or just having summons is generally great for everywhere. Let me see, for example, like even though I have my stuff on, see, I'm not getting all the enemies. Like a big pack has gone over to that spawn, so having some sort of a spawning skill is like that can go a long way. So if your character is not that tanky, just moving, like progressing slowly and not taking on a big pack of mobs, like making sure that you won't die here is that's probably the way to go. At least that's how I do it when I'm like a newer character. Yeah, we got a unique arrow quiver. How nice. I'm actually going to use that sooner or later if I could be bothered to farm up like... How many do I need? I think I need like 15 to 20 more Asmodan charms. Then I can make like a kind of a gambling video of some sorts. Because combining a unique quiver and an Asmodan charm has a 3% chance to add 50% magic find, which is nice. So here's the boss. He's the kind of see-through, sort of the ethereal looking mob, the Cow King. He will have an attack which is like this ground shockwave stuff. He will also have these like spawning these small projectiles which are actually chickens if I remember correctly. They can hit hard if you take all of them at once, but other than that, see these, if you take like all of them at once, that could hurt, but other than that, it's not that difficult to deal with. It's mostly just annoying because he will run away most of the time if you don't get him to focus at some point. First you go to the Canyon of the Magi. Canyon of the Magi. And if you have reset your difficulty before, you won't see which one is the real tomb by itself, but since the devs were nice in the map, you will see which one is the real because it'll have a green text and the rest will have a white text. If you go in here, first of all, they are usually smaller. I mean, they should be smaller, to my experiences. Then you will need to find this room where the orifice would be, and from then you would enter the Tarasha's room to kill Dariel. You need to kill these guys. You don't even need to kill the main guy, Zoltan Call. You just need to kill one of these random elites guarding him. And you get to the Binding of Baal, which needs a level 110. Usually I am already level 110 when I get here, like exactly 110. Maybe just like bit away from him. Now this, compared to how it was in earlier versions, this feels like it's been nerfed or made easier. Because if you have like 75, 76 auras, you should be totally fine just walking up to these enemies and straight up killing them if you have melee abilities or close range abilities like the paladin does, like my paladin at least. So you need to kill all these mobs, all these Horadric mages, because as long as one is in its range, he will also have this like little marker above his head, meaning he cannot take damage. He's immune to everything. So that's why I kind of need to clear the zone first. And if you have like, if you would otherwise have trouble with the boss, like having these enemies is kind of also bad because they can interrupt you, they can deal extra damage. The boss has like tri-elemental damage, like you can deal magic, like cold, fire, and lightning damage. These are kind of his attacks. This is what you need to pay attention for. These are direct fast attacks. You go closer, he can also cast his Shock Nova and like the fire wave which you saw earlier. You can also teleport around, so... but it doesn't really move that much. Walk into here. And this is the Torajan Jungles portal. You get here. You're represented with these mobs. This is also a rift zone by itself, so this is, as you can see, this is kind of a large area. We have a lot of spots to farm here. And this area has an increased chance to dropping runes and signets of learning. Which, when I get one, see what I mean by that. Nice. Where did it put it? This. These have a higher chance to drop here. If you right click on them, you'll get a free attribute points and you can get up to 400. After 400 you cannot use those, but it takes a bit of time to get there, but you can get them from transmuting set items with the Catalyst of Learning, which you'll get from I think it is Hell Summoner in the Act 2 zone before getting into the Canyon of Magi. So there are a lot of important zones in this area. For example, if you want to farm this zone regularly, which you totally should, by the way, this is a great farming spot. You can get your high runes easily, like not a Thule rune, but here's where I got most of my Zod runes, most of my Jaw runes, Chums, etc. So you can build those rune words quite easily if your character uses something like that. For example, the belt which I'm using for my mercenary, the Truce rune words requires a Jaw rune which I got from this zone. So, yep, you can definitely get some good stuff here. And also the Signets of Learning, like, it doesn't seem that much, like getting one extra vitality or strength. It's like, yeah, it's not that much by itself, but you know, spending enough time. I have 360, like 76 so far, which really helps a lot in the long run. So here's the waypoint, which was kind of weird to me at first, because not only like regular act zones can have waypoints, which is nice, that you don't actually need to come to this place for a long way anyway. Here you can find these red scythe or axe wielding guys. Notice when you kill them, there will be this like sort of a nova. That's not an attack, you're not taking any damage from that. That is for the boss, which is going to be here in this zone, like in this upper high corner. If you're just coming from the waypoint, going straight up, and then a bit down will let you get to the first boss, which is Akarat. This is kind of the first DPS check of the game, which is not that terrible, so you don't have to like thousands of damage. Like, if you get here your 110 build, like getting some higher level items, you should be fine. if the boss gets hit by this Nova attack, he'll become vulnerable, meaning you will be able to damage him. If he gets on low life and you don't kill him, he'll like rather quickly regen his HP. Like, let me try to get him a bit lower and show that. Yeah, see, he went instantly back to full HP. But he doesn't have that much health, which means he can be easily one-shotted if you have a good build. This charm rolls from 21 to 24 all 25 all stats, and up to 250 defense. So yeah, getting a good charm is, it's first of all not that difficult. Second of all, it doesn't change that much. So it's kind of just a charm that once you have it, you just kind of have it. Like getting 3 more stats or 40 more defense is not gonna be a deal breaker for your character to work, so you don't have to worry about that. Farming this dungeon if you find it, farming this boss if you find it annoying. Moving on for the next one, there will be these like Act 2 mercenary looking enemies. They will spawn these towers, which kinda shoot at you, deal all 3 elements of damage. Cold, lightning, and fire. Also, their basic attacks deal cold, lightning, and fire damage. So again, having max resist or even a bit above max resist is highly advised, because you can kind of take on 1, right? But you see, even just 1 can spawn a lot of turrets, and you will see what I mean. There are a lot of these guys, and by a lot I mean a lot. It is, for you, when you start out, when you just are 110, what you should do is just go out, kind of like get a feel for where they spawn and just try to lure them out one by one. Not trying to kill the whole pack at once, because you're kind of guaranteed to die even with like good resists. Because they have very high damage if you're not like prepared enough in the defenses. And in the middle of them is going to be the actual boss. Like, he kind of looks familiar. Like, he's the one who has the helmet on. He will also do this Poison Nova, and he spawns more towers at once. So let me try to kill the guards. As you can see, if you try to fight him in the like in a smaller area, or like if you take too long to get him, it's going to be more and more difficult the longer the fight goes on, so you should definitely try to focus on killing him. We'll also do this Poison Nova stuff around him, which I didn't really have problems, but if you feel poison is something that can get you, get either some regen, poison reds, or just stack up on potions. Yo, nice. What else is there to do? Oh yeah, it's in the Act 3 as well. I think I have a lower Kurast waypoint, which definitely wasn't here, meaning I probably reset the difficulty at some point. If you go out in the lower Kurast entrance, you'll find this mob called Storm Tree. Killing him will let you go to Caldium, which is the 110 zone. This area also has a bunch of Ubers just jammed into it. You can also get a waypoint here. This is also in Act 3. And to do the 110 dungeon, you just walk here. You can enter here, so you don't need a teleport, obviously. This is the Creature of Flame. It's kind of they're easy. You will be greeted by the Horizon's Familiar. What a nice thing for him to do. There will be this ghostly boss, which will summon these fire stuff, like this gate, which will summon more mobs. It's kind of the... And you'll also use fire attacks. It's kind of just dodge the attacks and don't die. As you can see from one cast, almost like 40%, like 60% of his HP went away. And that's just not just because I have like high damage. this boss doesn't have a lot of HP, so it is very easy for you to deal with as a fresh level 110 character. This boss used to have a one-shot mechanic as well, like he had a faster physical skill, which actually would make this fight a bit more difficult than now it is. It's kind of a joke fight now. But it had a bit more difficulty. It was still in the easy category. So as of the charm goes, it can roll up to 5% lifesteal, mana steal, and up to 25 all attributes. This is great extra item if your character relies on lifesteal. And did I cover everything? I think I did. Oh, there is one more. Oh, two more actually. I even forgot the 105. Yikes. There's like two more 110 zones, and that's kind of it actually. Let's get the 105 before I forget it. It's in the Act 2 town. You're into Act 2, good name. You enter the harem. Here, these guys, it's not necessary. And here there'll be a portal to the invasion. This invasion's quest has 3 variations. One of them is 105, this is very easy. Another one is 115, that's more difficult side. And there is 130, which is really freaking difficult. If you say like, my character cannot kill that guy, it's just impossible. Like that guy has a lot of damage. So this guy has a few basic mechanics. There'll be these circles which you need to avoid. They deal rather good amounts of damage, they can easily one-shot you. There is this spinning storm circle, like this storm boomerang sort of way. You can kinda see where it's going. And for the most part, the 105 boss doesn't have other mechanics. Like this is everything what he does. He stands in still, like he doesn't have other attacks. That's what he does. He just does this storm boomerang and the circle, the meteor sort of stuff. HP doesn't have that terribly much HP, but as you can see, clearly has more HP than some of the earlier fights. Some of the 110 fights. So you get the Riftwalker Eye, which is basically just a plus all skill and 15% EXP for you. Now, there is this bonus quest 1 and bonus quest 2 in it. You don't have to do anything with that. That is for the 115 and 130 counterparts of this dungeon. It is not so, like, you know, it's not the most logical thing to put those in, like, actually here instead of the documentation, but whatever, it's fine. You don't need to do anything with this. You just kill the boss and get the charm, and that's basically it. There is nothing more to this boss. So as the next one, it is need to go to Act 3. You go into the Travinkel and you walk back a little bit into this zone here. Now this boss I'm not so clear about entirely. There's some clear stuff which is easy to distinguish, but I'm not so sure about every mechanic that he has. He has a lot of poison damage, so stacking up on max poison resist is very useful, as well as using potions. He has a lot of different sort of poison attacks. One of them is this, like, sending out a fly stuff. The other one is... yes, the other one is this circle. You want to avoid that, you want to teleport out when it's maximum size, because that poison is really strong. That deals a lot of poison damage. It doesn't last as long as this, I think, but it definitely has a potential of killing you. I wanna show them a little bit more, like what his attacks are. This is just extra mob spawning. So you wanna go out of this, I will go into this. It's a short duration, but if you don't have like poison length reduction and max poison res, it can do good damage to you. But other than that, the fight is just don't get hit by the poison. It's rather tanky, as you can see, even though I have like rather big damage. Let me just get this on. When you see that green circle above his head, that's when he will do this super poison nova stuff, which can also do quite a good amount of damage. See? It's coming. Boom. While he has that white dot above his head, he is immune to damage. So in this mod, having that white circle above them their heads of the mobs, it's generally going to be something about either having higher resistances, taking less damage, or just generally being invulnerable. So if you see that, you want to delay your skills by a bit, so you don't want to use all your burst when the boss is up. Probably cannot use this. Yep. You get a signet which gives you +2 skill points, which is nice. It's basically the Tyrael quest, like the Izuol quest in Act 4, and it can be used once per character. I'll probably save this for my Amazon actually. Don't know if you can use them like while leveling. That would be sick, actually. Now as for the last 115, like 110, sorry, dungeon, you need to go to... I don't have the waypoints. God damn it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to the Wordstone Keep 2 and walk back to the Mount Arreat. Find the... Where is the entrance? Yeah. So we're looking for this. Wordstone Keep 1. Then it's here. The Arreat Summit. Here would be this guy, Narthal. You don't need to kill the ancients to get to this zone. You can also go from the Ancient's Way, which would be a bit more logical, but you know, I'm not about that. He will open the portal to the Arreat Summit. Again, the Assault on Mount Arreat is the final quest for today. This is kind of like the Binding of Baal, where you have a lot of the same type of mobs, which will throw axes at you. They have ranged attacks, and there will be a boss among them. Like here you see, you're transformed into Diablo. There are these Shadow Wolf warriors who have kind of the same tower summoning skill, and they also have like ranged physical attacks. So having high physical damage is obviously a good thing to do. Now, the boss here can be damaged even though these guys are alive, so you don't need to kill everything here. That's the sort of the main difference. It just has more damage and is like generally physical based fights. Like this is the physical version of the Binding of Baal quest. You'll see him because he's like looking like an actual barbarian player character, not just like one of these guys. And he has this whirling stuff around him. But as you see, he burns down kinda easily. Like he has relatively low HP. And he'll give you the Sacred Wellstone Key, which has some enhanced weapon damage and some bonus to defenses. This is a max roll, which is nice on the weapon damage. It can roll up to 30%. And I think the bonus defense can roll also to 30%. So I think that's about it. I think I have every single one of the 105, 110 dungeons covered, as well as rifts. Not sure if I've missed anything. I think I haven't. Great, I've covered everything. Cool. Nice. For next time, I don't know when I will actually record the next one, but that's going to be 115s. I might do them individually, like not in one walk, just like going a bit more into details.